The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and Your Sports Network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a Tuesday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com. Brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. Man, yesterday I promised you basketball previews, and we have a ton. 4 of them to get to today. We're not going to waste any time. Going to get right to them. And we start in Jackson Milton, where their girls basketball team is making a comeback this season after having to sit out last year due to numbers. Jeff Wilson, the head coach of the Jackson Milton Blue Jays, he's on tap here on Running Point. Here we go. Anthony Hartwig here with a Jackson Milton girls basketball coach's corner, joined by Jeff Wilson. Coach, how are we doing tonight? Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us.
Doing well, Anthony. Thank you for having us.
You're one of our first basketball season previews, and we had to get you on because we missed you so much last year. We missed Jackson Milton girls basketball last year. So first question, usually we start with a season preview, but obviously, unfortunately, no season season recap from last year. Obviously, no season to recap from Jackson Milton. But what I do want to ask about is the work that the girls that did want to play basketball put in last year, and then kind of did a lot of stuff to build foundations that you could build a program on. From a coaching perspective, I'm sure you've never been through a situation like this before. What was it like to see the girls that did have an investment into the program pour into it, work hard, and put the building blocks there so you could get right back to it this year?
Yeah, it meant the world to us. Last year we had 3 girls out. There were just 6 girls on a team the year before, and 4 girls had graduated. One of our girls was a foreign exchange student from the Canary Islands, and so she had to go back. But we got permission from OSHA to practice with our 7th and 8th grade every day. So Michaela Thornhill, who's our senior this year, and Joy Moore, who is a sophomore, they came every day, and worked hard and improved their skill level. And it says a lot about the kind of girls they are. And they build a rapport. And Coach Caulfield, my assistant, and I built a rapport with the junior high girls and their coaches. And so those were the building blocks. And we owe, a debt of gratitude to Coach Johns, Coach Kerr last year, the junior high coaches, for sharing the girls with us.
Like you said, now you're officially back. So I want to take the time to learn your roster, who you have coming out to the team this year, and have us have a little meet the team segment.
Yeah, our senior, Michaela Thornhill, she was with the program when I took over, and she's been doing a heck of a good job and being a leader, helping these young girls out. And then we have a couple sophomores, and then we have 10 freshmen. And the freshmen, their skill set is really good for freshmen. They're coming along, and they're really stepping up. Players like Amani Yassin and Emma Johns and Nora Schwarten, Olivia Newhard and Hannah Huziak and Gabby Kerr and others who have stepped up and, really improved in a short amount of time.
10 freshmen is a big, big class to have. And a lot of coaches would be spending a lot of time trying to get to know all these new kids and trying to feed them into, what they want to do as a coach philosophy. But you said it before, last year, you guys practiced with the 8th grade, 7th and 8th grade team. So you were with these 8th graders last year every day. You know who they are. You know what skills they bring to the table. What
Right.
kind of benefit is that of a coach to bring in freshmen that you already know so well? You already kind of understand what they can and can't do, and now you don't have to start from the building blocks with them. You can start from a different spot.
Yeah, it helps out a lot. Those names I said earlier, and then Olivia Stewart, also a freshman, and then a couple new freshmen in the mix. And it meant a lot. We got to know each other on a personal level, on an athletic level. Coaches, we know their skills and can kind of build what we want to do around them rather than coming in and, having it up in the air about what we want to do in terms of defense and things such as that. And it's a really great group of girls, great families, great parents.
As young as it is, you already mentioned a couple of times the one senior you do have in McKaylee Thornhill. Obviously, a very successful athlete at Jackson Milton, has been to districts in softball, a very good softball player, knows what the standard is for success. What's it like having a senior like that to kind of lead this very young roster? Did you get that, or did we lose you?
I'm sorry, I lost you, Anthony.
Yeah,
You're
okay.
talking about Michaela. Sorry about that.
Yeah. I was going to ask this: what it's like to have such a great senior leader who has been there, who has been successful in other sports, knows what it takes to be a successful athlete. What kind of a benefit is it to have that kind of a leader with a very young roster?
It's immeasurable. Being a varsity player in softball and volleyball is priceless. She knows what varsity sports is all about. And the young kids have really come a long way. We've just been going a little over a week. We had our first scrimmages, and very impressed with their energy. We got a couple freshmen who Nora Schwarten was a regional finalist for cross country. Emma Johns played varsity volleyball. So, we're getting some players who've been through the varsity ringer a little bit, and that's rubbing off on the other girls.
Let's talk about the schedule that you guys have in front of you. We'll start with your MVAC Scarlet Tier League, and we know that MVAC is very, very hard with Springfield, McDonald, Western Reserve in there, Middle Ridge, a young and up-and-coming volleyball team, Lowville, et cetera, et cetera. What do you like out of the league this year? What's it mean to you to finally be a part of it and to put your team out there against these teams?
Yeah, Springfield making it as far as they did last year is no joke, and Middle Ridge has some experience and a really good group of ninth graders. So they'll be up there. Western Reserve obviously is always good, and our rivals. So yeah, those games are going to be extremely important. They will find out very quickly what it takes to achieve in that league, in our league, and it'll be great competition.
What are some non-conference games that also pop up on your schedule that you're just excited about, that you're excited to test your team with, and you can't wait to get out there with them?
Yeah, we open with Columbiana. They're always a good program with Coach Crimson, and also that pop up, a team like Cardinal, who was in the same situation we were last year. Amongst others, we have a home and away with Heartland Christian, Letonia. So some new phases to maybe a Jackson Milton schedule, but we just got to prepare and be ready for every game, and that's my job to get them ready. And they already have the work ethic, so I feel pretty good about our chances.
You still have a couple of weeks until that first game, but I'm wondering from your perspective, after everything that you went through last year, I know it was probably hard for you as a coach to not have varsity games every week. What's game one going to feel like for you when you're seeing the teams warm up and you're back in that atmosphere, and there's nothing like high school basketball inside of a court?
Yeah, I haven't coached a game in besides summer league this year, in about a year and a half, and that was playing Canton McKinley, where I was before here, and that was an eye opener there, and they're really good, and it's just excitement. This will feel like the tournament to me is, just putting my coaching hat on. I almost lost my voice Saturday because I'm not used to it. And so I'm getting that back. But, it's really, really exciting. My assistant coach, Coach Caulfield, stuck by us all last year and this year. And, we could not be more excited.
Let's talk about the whole staff, whether it be the 7th and 8th grade coaches, your assistant coach, the people that are behind the scenes that are helping you make this Jackson Mountain program what it is. Want to give you the chance to give them a shout out as well.
Yeah, sure. My assistant coach at the high school level is Madison Caulfield. So this is her second year with us. We got a couple new junior high coaches with Adam Hawley and Mike Sheely. And then Mike Johns, who's been with the program for a few years now, is going to volunteer at the junior high level. But, you know, it's the whole community. It's the whole district. I couldn't ask for a better situation to be in. Starts at the top with Mr. Baker and our board, and Mr. Vega, our principal, and Coach Fishtorn, our athletic director, and everyone else that the other sports coaches are just so helpful and sharing athletes. And so it is a group effort. It's a family atmosphere here, and my family and I, we love it.
Yeah, I loved how much passion you had from Jackson Milton from the start, and how much you just promoted your program. And what I want to ask you before we let you go is just what was so important about that for you, making sure that as a coach, you're not only there every day, you're not only doing the things with the team, but you're also promoting it. I mean, you post a lot about this team. You're passionate about this team and this community, and you've been that way since the day you took the job. So what was so important for you about being able to do that?
You know, a couple reasons. You know, if you're going to do a job, you got to do it to the best of your ability, you know, or don't do it. My family and I are residents of North Jackson, so it's personal to me. This is where my son goes to school. It's where my daughter will go to school and be graduates from. So, you know, the fact that it's personal to me too is extremely important. These folks gave me a chance, and you know, I want to make the best of it and really give back and put the best product we can on the floor, and you know, and also be something to help out kids' lives in whatever way I can.
We're excited for basketball season, Coach. Why don't you give a shout out to the Blue Jay fans when the first time they can come see you guys is, when your first game is, and when they can come see you?
Yeah, November 27th at home against the Columbiana Clippers, and we'll be excited and ready.
Officially start the countdown. Here we go.
That's right.
November 27th.
3 weeks. 3 weeks today.
3 weeks to the dot, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, Coach. We'll look forward to that. We can't wait to see you out there, and we can't wait to talk to you real soon. Thanks for joining us today.
Anthony, as always, thank you.
Anthony Hartwig here with a Lowville Girls Basketball Coaches Corner season preview. We're joined by Lisa Moldelsky, who is a great friend of the show, great friend of everything that we do here at YSN. And Coach, great to have you back for another year of basketball.
Yeah, I'm excited. I always look forward to this interview just to get some, you know, things out about our team and our girls. And I always really appreciate what you guys do as individuals and as YSN as a whole. I mean, really, there's nothing like it in the area. So I appreciate everything you guys do.
We're excited for Lowville basketball. Before we get started on this year's team, I want to kind of get you to recap last year, some of the things you learned about your girls, some of the things that you saw from last year's team, and some of the things that you're bringing from last year into this year.
As you know, we lost a lot of our firepower from last year, losing 4 or 5 starters. A majority of our offensive ability is gone with graduation. So we are a completely different team. A little nervous coming into the season, not sure what to expect. Knew we had some quality kids coming back with some depth in their playing time, but also knowing we had a wonderful group of freshmen coming up who, have been in a winning kind of tradition ever since 3rd grade. So excited to see what they could do and how they could mesh with what we had coming back. So really excited to be back at it. I think the girls are responding really well to each other and learning every day. So it's been a blessing to be back with these kids.
One of the things that we've always talked to you about with this team is just the confidence that it has. You know, the confidence that last year's group built over their 4 years of high school. And now you have another really good freshman class coming in. And like you said, they're really used to winning, so they have to come in pretty dang confident. Are you seeing a lot of confidence out of this freshman class that you got coming in?
Oh, yeah. I'm not sure as a freshman I was as confident as some of these kids. But like I said, they know how to win. These are kids that have been together since 3rd grade playing elementary basketball. They won the MVAC as 7th graders, lost a couple kids going into 8th grade, but still came back and were competitive and were runner-up in the league. So they know how to win. They work extremely hard. They are not fearful of anything. They put forth their best effort every day, and that only makes everyone better. So it's really exciting to see, what they're going to bring to the table and the new looks of some things that we can do differently this year.
It means we have a lot of new faces that we have to meet. So I want to have a meet the team segment, have you go through the roster, some of the big names, some of the names that we have to know before Lowville starts their season.
Sure. We have 13 kids on roster. 7 of those are our freshmen. So we are very young overall. Like I said, we lost 4 of our 5 starters. One is returning, senior Serena Tish. Looking for really big things from Serena. I really think Serena has the ability to be one of the best guards in our league, if not the area. She can turn it on. She has a lot of speed, athleticism. And when she gets under control, she does some amazing things for us. Another senior that has got quality minutes over the past years is Isabella Wilrich. Isabella is a very good shooter. Teaching her to do some other things and to elaborate a little bit more on some of her areas of play. We've noticed over these past, week or so, she's stepping up really big in her senior leadership roles. We have 3 juniors coming back: Alyssa Kuzan, Morgan Lewis, and Michelle Kavanaugh. All 3 have saw some really good minutes last year. So looking for them to fill some of those hopeful starter positions, or, really giving us some quality minutes and the things and the experience that they bring back. We have 1 sophomore back to the team. She was a late coming out. She really hasn't played since 6th grade, but she has a lot of athleticism, and just getting her back in the flow of playing basketball and understanding the game. That's Juliana Alfano. And then our 7 freshmen, we have Sydney Prosick, who's the sister of Savannah, who just graduated, Gianna Palumbo, Aubrey Kester, Victoria Beatty, Riley Gooden, Addison Leitner, and McKenna Lewis. So that is a group that is, like I said, has been together through a ton of basketball. And, they're just stepping in hungry, looking to battle for some of those spots. And they just bring a different level of competitiveness and IQ for the game of basketball.
Some things that stand out to me when you go through your roster: one, you do have some upperclassmen, some leadership on the team. Despite how many freshmen you have, you do have those leaders that are coming back that know what you're about, know what the program's about. How much are you going to lean on those girls to lead this team that has, like you said, a lot of talented freshmen?
Yeah, tremendously. I would say in the past week or so, seniors, I've seen them step up in a lot of ways. We had actually our first scrimmage on Saturday. Serena's been a very vocal leader, which has been wonderful. I think in the past, she sort of has been behind some of those kids that have started since they were freshmen, with Savannah and Lily and Frankie. And I think she just was sort of intimidated a little bit to take on some of those qualities, but she's really stepped in and has really taken that leadership over, really pulling these young kids aside, holding them accountable for things, making them do things the right way. Same thing with Bella. I mean, she's turned her play up quite a bit. She's taken it to a different level. And I think, when you look down the line at what's behind you, it sort of instills a little bit of fear, in the sense of, there's some young kids that you may face for some time, but I think they're in a position, our motto this year is "We over me." These girls are really just becoming one on the basketball court, and understanding that in any given night, anybody, could be the main scorer, but it's not always about that. So I'm just hoping that those 2 are really leading by example, being vocal leaders, and everything else will fall into place.
Another name that stuck out was junior Alyssa Kuzan, who had such a great volleyball season. This is a breakout junior season on the volleyball team. Played in our all-star game last night as Lowville's representative. When you have someone that gets that kind of varsity experience in whatever sport it may be, and she's bringing it into your team, what does that do for her, your team, and what she's able to bring to the table?
I tell you what, Alyssa's she's such a great person. She's been nursing a little bit of a knee injury since volleyball. Volleyball is a little bit of a different sport, so it doesn't require a lot of cutting and jumping and, in the intensity that basketball does. So she hasn't been with us since we've started. And today she thought she was going to be able to go a little bit. And when she found out she couldn't, she got emotional, which is a great thing to see, because it shows that she cares. She wants to get out there with these kids. I think she's there every day watching practices and learning in that way, but it's not the same of being out there with your teammates and being a part of it. So she is an emotional kid. She brings fight, and she brings, aggression, and she brings all those wonderful qualities that are tough to teach kids to the floor. So it's wonderful to have her. I'm excited, that she's sort of getting the help she needs with that knee, and she's going to be back with us real soon.
I love hearing another project too. I mean, it's like one graduates, here comes another one. We loved watching Savannah in your program for the 4 years that she was there. What kind of player is her sister? How familiar is she with Savannah? Is she kind of the same kind of person, or is she a lot different coaching them both?
You know what?
A lot of similarities.
I see some similarities, but I also see some unique differences. And I don't like to always compare them, but the bad thing is I do call Sydney Savannah all the time. I think she's just sort of gotten used to it. Like I said, I've coached Savannah the past 4 years, so it's easier for me just that name to roll off my tongue. So Sydney, Sydney works extremely hard. She's one of those kids that puts a ton of work into the off season to improve her game. And as a coach, you just got to love that. She plays multiple sports, but she always finds time to get a basketball in her hand and to make herself better. So her basketball IQ is phenomenal. Like I said, she reads her teammates well. She's already meshing with these upperclassmen so well. She's such a go-getter, and she's just a fighter. So I'm really excited to have her. Her dad's one of our assistants this year, so he brings a lot of knowledge, and he wants physicality, and he holds her very accountable for the things she does. But she, like I said, she goes after it. She puts a ton of time in the off season, behind the closed doors, and just makes herself better. So
let's talk about your schedule. We'll start with that MVAC Scarlet tier. You have the reigning regional champion in your conference with Springfield, who went to state last year, alongside Western Reserve, alongside McDonald, alongside a Middle Ridge team that I think has a very good freshman team coming out that I've heard. Jackson Milton coming back into the conference. What do you see out of the league this year? How do you think you guys fit into it?
It's a gauntlet every night. I don't expect anything less from those top teams. Springfield's, Western Reserves, Middle Ridge has everybody coming back, plus a nice freshman group coming in. Jackson Milton, we saw them in summer league. They have a great group of freshmen that work really hard and are competitive, and just everybody, it's tough to beat. It's just a tough league. I think everybody lost some key pieces to their puzzle from last year with exception of Middle Ridge, who I think's got everybody back, but I think Booth graduated. So everybody's lost those key pieces, us included. It'll be interesting to see who sort of fills those roles and who sort of steps up into those scoring positions. But yeah, I expect those teams to still be at the top of their game. I'm sort of excited for us. I think we're sort of sleepers because we're sort of young, and we did lose a lot. But after watching our first scrimmage on Saturday, these kids just respond so well to change and some of the different things that we're implementing. Because they're young, I keep telling them, everybody wants to win. Everybody looks at a coach and says that they're successful based on their wins and losses, and a team if they're successful based on their wins and losses and what they do in league and what they do in districts. But I'm just really excited to see how this team grows each and every day in practice, in games. I think come mid-end season, we're going to be a contender for a lot of different things, just based on early kind of practices and scrimmages, like I said, and just watching these kids just respond so well to in-game sort of modifications and adjustments. They're a smart group of kids, so I'm excited to see sort of how it plays out in the league.
What are some non-conference teams that come on your schedule that you're really excited to test your team against, and you can't wait to see how you guys respond to those challenges?
Well, I'll tell you this, we're going to get tested real early. We start off with Bristol, who I know we did win last year, but it was a battle up there. And they got pretty much everybody coming back. And then our second game doesn't get any easier, probably with one of the best teams in the area, and that's Crestview. They have everybody coming back, and they're probably stronger and more mature and, better in regards to every aspect of their game. So it'll be interesting to see how we fare in those first couple games and how our young kids respond. Like I said, they're not used to losing many games, but just, keeping them positive and understanding that, wins early are not maybe the overall goal, as it is just getting better as a group. With Waterloo not having a team, we picked up Newton Falls, who's always competitive in their league. We have JFK, who's another team that's probably going to be one of the best in the area. Mogador, we picked up for a Waterloo, a gap in our schedule. East, Lisbon, Columbiana, those are all great programs with wonderful coaches. So, I'm expecting just competitive basketball.
When you talk about, man, starting off the season like that, Bristol Crestview, that's really throwing your girls into the fire. I like that you said that, you have to set new goals, new opportunities, new bars, and winning would be great. You would be ecstatic if you went 2-0 in that, but you can't define your season by those 2 wins. How are you kind of handling that, getting ready for the season? You're getting ready for Bristol in the next 2 weeks. Like, hey, our goal for this game is this. It's not necessarily you always winning, but like that's not the if all be all getting the win. So how are you kind of handling that, getting ready for the season?
I like that our kids aren't just settling this year. I think sometimes in years past, we always just felt, oh, we're playing Springfield. We probably aren't going to win that game. Oh, we're playing, Western Reserve. We just don't match up. We're not going to win that game. These kids have it in their mind that they want to play, the big names, and they want to play the big schools, and they want to go out and compete. I think they're really excited about some of the changes, the new kids coming in, some of these other kids that didn't really maybe have opportunities to step out and be starters and be vocal leaders. Now they're accepting those challenges in new ways. So I'm really pleased with how everybody's handling it. The attitudes have been great. The effort has been wonderful. I think all the things that we need to work on are easily coachable kinds of aspects of the game, and I have no doubt that these kids will pick it up real quick.
I want to give you the chance to shout out your staff like we do every year, and the people that are behind you, the people that help you make this Lowville basketball team as good as it is.
Well, unfortunately, we lost my assistant from the past 7 years, John Vizek. He went over to the boys' side to coach with the new.
Boo!
I know. The girls always say, "Coach left us," but it was an opportunity he couldn't pass up. I know John's been wanting to get to the boys' side for many years. He has such extensive knowledge of the game. He's helped me tremendously, as a head coach, and has done a lot for the program. So I'm really excited that he's getting that opportunity. But coming back as, my assistant, one of my assistants and my father, Ron Rotuno, he will be coaching our JV. He's our rah-rah. Every girl loves him. He's our positive kind of, sweetheart of the coaching staff, and the girls just adore him. So it's always nice to have someone on staff that the girls could trust and just really just have fun with. And then moving up is my junior high coach from last year, Steve Prosick. That's Savannah and Sydney's father. He brings a ton of knowledge, and like I said, he's been with these kids since 3rd grade, so they know him, he knows them, he knows their tendencies, and vice versa. So it's really, he is a go-getter. I've never seen someone as prepared and as into the game as he is. He holds me accountable for a lot of things, and I absolutely love it. So I'm having a blast with him. And then Rick Palumbo is going to be helping us out on staff as well this year. And like I said, he's been with Steve in the lower programs for many years. Played basketball, was a 1,000-point scorer in Lowville. So getting to watch his daughter play from the sideline, it will be a wonderful thing for him. So we're excited for our coaching staff and what they all bring. We're just excited to get going.
We are too, Coach. Let's get the community of Lowville excited. When's your first game? When's the first time they can come out and see the Lady Rockets?
We have our first game will be at home on the 22nd, so it will be here real fast. This is the first time I think we've ever played since I've been coaching before Thanksgiving, so it's a really quick turnaround. Like I said, we had a scrimmage already. We have another one Wednesday, another one Saturday, so everything's just happening real quick. I really think, the excitability of this group and some of the things that we're going to be changing up. We have some quality depth. I feel this early, we're looking at, like I said, 13 girls on roster. We could go 9-10 deep, if not more, as the season progresses. We just have some really smart basketball kind of IQ minds. And like I said, they're competitive. They're not afraid of challenges. They're challenging these upper class for positions and time. And it's been really fun to see, the growth that we've made already in the past week and a half. So, I think anybody in the community that wants to just see some girls just playing really hard-nosed basketball, I need to come out and watch this group, because it's just going to get better as the season progresses.
You've heard it, Rockford fans. Just 2 weeks and 2 days away from game one. Get out there. It's at home. No excuse not to support them. Get a little appetizer for Thanksgiving, and
Right.
then go the next day and eat your fill of Thanksgiving turkey.
Yeah.
Coach, we can't wait for the season. We thank you so much for coming on, previewing it with us, and we wish you the best of luck. Of course, we can't wait to talk to you again real soon.
I appreciate it, Anthony. Thank you so much.
Shopping for a vehicle online should be easy and worry-free. Introducing Merge from Greenwood Chevrolet, a completely new way to buy a car that combines the convenience of shopping online with the personal touch and expertise that Greenwood is known for. With Merge, shopping is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Choose a vehicle from our pre-owned inventory, build a deal that fits your needs, and finalize the deal with our online buying team. That's car buying in a new lane. Visit greenwoodchevrolet.com and let us go the extra mile for you.
Gotta unmute myself here, back here on Running Point Live, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You just heard from Jeff Wilson and Lisa Moldelsky, basketball previews from them, Jackson Milton and Lowville, respectively. And now we're going to break into some live interviews here on Running Point, and we welcome back Ty Bartell into the fold. He's been doing a lot of previews just like I have yesterday, today, tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. It doesn't really matter. We have a ton of basketball previews coming for you. Ty, we're getting ready to interview someone that you're pretty dang familiar with. Brian Beanie going to join the show at about 1:30, which is right now-ish. And then we have, of course, Kerry Palermo coming on to finish in his reserve time slot, 1:45. That's where he fits in perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I told him too. I emailed him and told him it's a thing with you and running point in 1:45. So
it brought him some mojo last year. Every time he came on the show at 1:45, the next game he would win. So we have it locked in that when Kerry Palermo comes on, we keep him at 1:45, and that gives him and the Cardinals some good mojo.
we're going to have a lot of good teams in the area this year from the coaching staffs that I've talked to so far. And I mean, both on the boys and the girls side, I'm really excited for hoop season coming up.
I'm excited for a lot of new faces. We saw a lot of very talented seniors graduate last year, especially on the girls' side. You look at some of the players that you can mention that have graduated and are going to have new players in the program step up. You look at Sophia Hook graduated, Laura McCoy graduated from Garfield, Demi Watson and graduated from Liberty, Lowville lost their whole starting lineup. We just listened to Coach Moldelsky, et cetera, et cetera. You go into the list. It says there's a lot of programs with new faces coming up into the fold.
It's one of the best times of the year, but there are quite a few programs that are going to be returning a bit of talent too, including this.
I'm excited to see who Springfield brings into the fold. They lost a really good senior class.
They absolutely did, but it oftentimes is those younger players too that you can see step up into those roles, and we've seen it time and time again. But it's all about the confidence level of these younger players. Are they confident in stepping up? I know a lot of
Coach Beanie coming on time.
Successful, but yeah, let's bring Mr. Beanie into to the mix here.
What's up, boys?
How we doing today, Coach?
Long, tiring day already.
Yeah, we're gonna get you big screened here, Coach, for our segment, Coach's Corner, here with Rich basketball head coach Brian Beanie. And Coach, I mean, I know football went a little long this year, but that's a good thing usually in athletics. But you got the boys now. How are practices looking? What you've been able to see from them so far?
Well, this is the first year that football has started a week early. And even though, unfortunately, we lost in round 2, because football started a week early, I get them back basically on time for the most part. So, it wasn't that big of a deal. In the past, if you've gone on further, then you start to get into some territory where you got to make some adjustments maybe as far as your schedule and stuff like that. But I gave the boys a few days off. Some have come back already, but everyone's coming back tomorrow to start. So we're not fully equipped yet with our full roster, but we're about 95% there.
Coach, we've been talking with you on Ysn for a while now, and one of the things I love about your coaching staff and this fit program, they're always able to take things from last year into this year and just build every year, foundations from the year prior. What are you taking from last year's team and last year's season's lessons learned into this new season this year?
Well, last year, I mean, Ty knows because he does all our games that we were extremely young, starting two freshmen, two sophomores, and one senior. So it was nice to see those guys progress as the season went on. There's growing pains at first to be expected, but the kids got better at, each and every game. And, bringing back that core this year, on paper, it makes it an exciting season to come.
I remember the 2016 season when you guys had that senior leadership, and it feels like we're starting to build to it. Do you have more flexibility now with the guys you have having that extra year under their belt too, and bringing a lot of the guys back?
Oh, no doubt. And, those young guys also played football. So they played as the two freshmen I'm talking about, they played freshman football last year. They started varsity this year, started varsity for me last year. So now they got 2 years of varsity experience basically under their belts. And, you're right, Ty, we are building towards that senior leadership class that we've had in the past. But, these guys basically are juniors. Are almost 2.5-year starters. They got some time as freshmen as well. So even though we don't have a big senior class, but most high school basketball teams don't, just from a number standpoint, can't keep everybody. But, I'm excited about the seniors that we have, led by Deshaun Vaughn, 3-year starter, obviously on the football and basketball court. And then bringing back our twins inside and Marcel and Carter. And we got some depth around them as well this year. So, the leadership's there. Each guy has their own personality. Some are more vocal than others. Sometimes the younger guys are also leaders too, which in the past that sometimes wasn't the case. But, in today's athletics, the younger kids get thrown into the fire right from the get-go. So, they learn pretty quickly.
Coach, when you think about your schedule, obviously we'll start with the AAC and the league that you're in. Very competitive league, not as big as some others, but very competitive in boys basketball. What do you see out of the league this year? Give us a little bit of a preview of the AAC.
Well, I mean, we all know each other, whether it's through the summer or the kids just knowing each other because of the close proximity. Coaches, obviously, we've known each other for a long time. Year in and year out, the league's always, competitive and balanced. It doesn't matter if you have a lot of returning starters, or very few. Every time you step on the court, nothing's guaranteed. And the familiarity with the kids and the coaching staffs, make each game very competitive. Canfield's got guys back. We've got a lot of guys back. Howland's got some back, Boardman and Warren. So, each team has, a certain amount back core-wise. That makes it very competitive. And in high school sports, you never know game in and game out because you're still dealing with, young kids. So on paper, you might be the favorite, in a certain game, but you just never know until, the game plays out.
Bringing a ton of guys back, but one of the guys you did lose, Gianni Maley, was a primary ball handler. Has that presented any challenges for you early on in trying to fill that role?
Yeah, no doubt. Gianni, was a 2-year starter for us, ultra quick. I mean, one of the quickest kids I've seen on the court in years. His leadership and his ability to run the point will be missed, but we got guys that can fill in. I mean, Deshaun Vaughn ran the point some last year. Marcel Finkley can run the point. Brady Evans, a sophomore, can run the point. In today's basketball, it's so much basically like positionless basketball where in the past you were kind of maybe locked into certain positions, but now most kids can play multiple positions. So, even though we lose Gianni and he was a pure point guard for us, we feel good about other guys stepping up and, taking on that role that he vacated.
You talked about how familiar you were with your conference teams, but the good thing about having a smaller AAC is you get to go out and test yourself with a non-conference schedule every year. Who are some teams that pop up outside of the AAC that you're really excited to go up against?
Oh, geez. How much time you got? Last year we were like in the top 15 in strength of schedule in Division I. And my coaching mentality is that, being Division I, you have to go challenge yourself. You can't, sure, you can pad your schedule and you can get a lot of wins and then come first round of playoff, you get your butt kicked because you weren't prepared for the teams you're going to see down the road. So we've challenged ourselves for many years now, and we play some very good teams. But I'm just kind of looking up here on my board for the schedule. We got teams like Canton, Glen Oak. We play a team from West Virginia, Lindsley Academy. We play Erie Cathedral Prep. Conference games. We go down to Newark, we go down to Ohio Dominican and play in a classic called Battle of 614 versus Newark. We come back, we play Ursa, we play Glen Oak, we play defending Division I state champions, Archbishop Hoban, and we play Lake. So to say our schedule isn't loaded would be laughable.
Not for the faint of heart.
Not for the faint of heart. No, that's for sure. That is for sure.
But this isn't the first time you've done that. This is the schedule you guys have been doing year in and year out, Coach.
Absolutely. But you have to. I mean, again, being Division I, if you don't show those kids those type of teams on your schedule, win or lose, then you're doing your team a disservice. Because when the tournament comes, and if they're seeing that type of team for the first time, they're like a deer in headlights.
So my question is, with you guys having the winning record then last year, how good of a foundation is that for you guys to build to this year now, having that gauntlet of the schedule stay the same, but a winning record to go off of it? Sure.
I mean, it proves to the kids that they can play with anybody. We have the ability, we have the athleticism, we have the size. So, we're not afraid of anybody. That doesn't mean we're better than that opposing team, but when we step on the court, the mentality basically is, yeah, we've seen you before, your type of play. And the kids won't back down from that. And, I go back to a couple of years ago when we beat Dover in the tournament, and they were like, at one point, like the 5th or 6th ranked team in the state, and they had one loss come tournament time, and we beat them. And I remember the guy asking me kind of the same question you did. And I said, no disrespect to Dover, but we've seen teams just like that, and in some cases better. And that just, our schedule built us up for those type of games. We beat Walsh Jesuit last year, who goes on to the regional finals, loses to Hoban. We've seen teams like that. So, and again, that doesn't, we can lose those games, just as easy, but we're not stepping on the court in awe. And I think scheduling those type of teams does your team, a positive instead of playing teams that maybe you will beat and are better than, and you win a lot of games. And like I said, then you get smoked in the tournament. That's just my philosophy. Maybe other coaches are different. I don't know.
Coach, before we let you go, I do want to give you the chance to shine a light on your coaching staff and the people that are working behind you to make this Fitch program what it is.
Yeah, I have a couple great, or like a great group of guys, I should say. It starts with, my freshman coach, John Hudson, who sets the foundation, for those incoming freshmen. It's a very difficult job because you're getting them from middle school. And basically sometimes you got to rebuild some things maybe. But he does a great job. He's been with me a long time. Marcus Higgs has been with me for some time now too. And Orville Simons, his son Todd, who is our all-time leading scorer, he's been with me now for some time as well. So, we do have a great staff, have a great group of guys. There's too many of them to name at the youth program that really sets the foundation at that low level. And then a great group of middle school coaches as well. So, it's hard to do, even though, it's tiring at times. And as a head coach, there's a lot on your plate that people don't see, behind the scenes, but, you just can't do it alone. You need a support staff behind you, whether it's your coaches or, like my family at home, it keeps me going for, a long time, however many years I've been doing this. So it's still enjoyable. I like the kids, like the coaches. It's still fun to do. When it's not fun to do, you won't be talking to me on YSN.
And then you'll be talking to people. You'll come on and be a commentator.
Maybe I'll be a commentator at that point. Exactly.
You talk about that love, Coach, and I mean that's just the last question we have for you today. It's my running theme for coaches this year. The love of basketball is another thing bringing you back each and every year. Where did that love start? What do you have a moment, a time period where you remember?
Oh boy. I mean, growing up, I was a multi-sport kid, played multiple things. Yeah, that's a good question. In high school, I remember when we were young, we'd go to our youth camps, our day camp in the summer that, I still hold today. So that's been going on almost 50 some years. I remember those days. I remember the awards that, we would win and all those things. And then carrying that on to middle school and then high school, playing with all your friends and stuff like that. And, making some memories and, winning the conference championship when we were juniors and, just stuff like that, just playing sports in general at the middle school, high school level, you kind of just get a bond with it. And, I'm friends with almost all those guys still today. And it's just kind of sticks with you. And you kind of want to take that, on with you and try to, give that to the kids that, that you're now coaching. I was able to do that with my boys who have now graduated a few years ago and, and passing on to these kids. So like I said, it's when it stops becoming enjoyable and fun, then I'll come commentate for YSN. But until that point,
there's always a spot next to me, Coach. I'll take you for some games.
Coach, we appreciate your time today. We wish you the best of luck this season. We can't wait to see you out there.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you.
We go from one to the next because we have a guy that has his own personal spot at 145 on Running Point. It's Kerry Palermo from Cardinal Mooney. Every time we bring it on, it's got to be at 145, Coach. It gives you good mojo. We know that.
Absolutely. This is a lucky spot.
Coach, I mean, this is the first edition of Coach's Corner with Kerry Palermo from Mooney Basketball, head boys basketball skipper. And Coach, how are practices looking for your guys right now? I know you've been able to get maybe a couple under your belt now. What are things looking like?
It's going great. I mean, we have 6 returning seniors that all have started, over 15 games in their career. Some of our 2 of our seniors, Rocco and Ashton, have been starting since their sophomore year. Practices have been great. They've been very competitive. Most of our players play multiple sports, and unfortunately for them, I think their seasons ended probably a little bit before they wanted to, which was unfortunate. But the flip side of it, they were able to get a week off of rest. And, we had everybody in the gym on, November 3rd. I'm trying to think of the first official day of practice. They're going really good right now. Our first scrimmage is Saturday, and we're ready to go.
Coach, in the summer, you make a lot of building blocks to get yourself to this point, but these next 2 weeks are just all about fine-tuning and tightening things up, getting ready for game 1. What are some of the goals and checkpoints you want to see your team meet in these next couple of weeks before game 1?
So the first thing, and we've talked about this every day, is just stacking days and getting better every single day. Our goal always at Cardinal Mooney is to be playing our best basketball the last game of the year. We don't want to peak right now, but we want to get better every day. That's my number one goal. And really just like this whole first week or so, we focused on our man offense, man defense. And, with 6 seniors and all of our guys, especially our underclassmen are all with us in the summer, which is very fortunate. Getting them on the same page, which that really hasn't been a struggle. Getting our man offense in the first couple of weeks, and we're a pressing team. Our 1-2-2 press is a big part of what we do. And, really like day 2, we were able to kind of, I don't want to say install, but just review that. And, that's what we're doing right now.
We were just talking with a coach with one tough conference in the AAC. I feel the Steel Valley Conference is equally tough in that you don't know who's gonna come out on top of it. Talk about where you guys are gonna fare in the Steel Valley Conference and the type of competition you're gonna see from the other 3.
Well, all 4 schools in the Steel Valley Conference are extremely competitive. The All-American Conference, I think, is one of the best conferences in our area. I think the SVC is better. I just think you could see that with the postseason success that all the schools have had and just our record against those other opponents. But I would say the AAC and the SVC are definitely the 2 best. And we all play one another, too, because we want to play against the best teams. It's very tough. You're like you said, you never know with all the kids transferring. There's a lot of transfers that go on now in high school sports. I think there's been a trickle-down effect of what you see at the college ranks. So, the schools in our conference, there's 2, 3, 4 transfers every year. So you never know who's coming. You think guys graduate, and then all of a sudden, there's new players that come in, and then there's a few good coaches in our conference. So they're tough to prepare against.
Coach, we always like to have like a meet the team segment on these season preview interviews where you go down your roster, you let us know who's going to be big contributors to your team this year, and you introduce us to your squad.
So it's really like every senior on our team. I guess I'll just start like from the positions. Our point guard, Jabri Carter, he's coming back. He was an all-county player, all-NEO player. He had a tremendous summer. He's getting a lot of looks from Division II and Division III colleges. I think he's a guy that is a scholarship basketball player. He had a tremendous season for us. He really came into his own about the 7th or 8th game of the year and really kind of stabilized that position for us. I'm looking for a tremendous year out of him. Ashton O'Brien is another senior. He'll be a 3-year starter for us. He led our team in scoring last year. He was all state, all conference, all county, all that stuff. He's a guy we're going to lean on his experience and just his ability to make shots. I'm expecting a great season out of him. He had a big football season. Another senior, Rocco Turner, another guy will be a 3-year starter for us. He's a state championship golfer. The other guys, he just hit a ton of big shots in his career. Our regional final run a couple of years ago, I think him and Ashton were our leading scorers that whole run. He's another guy we'll lean on his experience. We have Eddie Nieves. He's a kid only got to play half the season last year because he transferred in. He's 6'4", 6'5". We play him at the 4, but he's really a wing player. Very athletic kid, shoots the ball extremely well, can guard positions 1 through 5. I'm really excited to see him for a full season. When he was eligible last year, we were like 8-3. We finished 15-11, and I thought our kids really competed after he was ineligible. But he brings a different dynamic to our team that I really haven't had in my. This is going into my 8th year coaching there. He'll be a tremendous player for us. Nick Pregabon is a guy who started over 20 games last year. He's another all-state soccer player. Just an incredible competitor. He can handle the ball a little bit. Good shooter, tremendous defender. A kid who just leaves everything on the floor. He's a guy who could, if you need him to score, he could score. If you want him to guard the best guard, he could do it. Another kid, Will Desmond, who's an all-conference. I'm sure he'll probably be close to all-state football player. Will Desmond's about 6'3" post player. Just a tough, rugged kid. Not afraid to be physical. Maybe pushes it a little too far every now and then, but I like it. He'll be a big player for us. Started a number of games for us. It's just all these guys, the seniors, they're just very, very, very competitive kids. Kids that spend a lot of time working at their craft. They've all played multiple sports, which you don't see that this day and age. Like kids tend to specialize, and they have the ball handling coach, the fitness trainer, and all that stuff. This is a very like old school style of team, which I like. They're just very competitive, and they've been through it. I mean, we've had. We didn't really have an up and down season. We had a good season, but there were times where these guys had to learn because they were inexperienced. They were very determined, and they remembered a lot of last year. I thought they had a successful season. To them, losing the district championship, that didn't sit very well with them. How we finished in the SVC, they have a very good memory. Some of the non-seniors, we had 2 junior transfers. Marvin Dubas from Lowville, he's about a 6'3", 6'4", 230-pound post player. He's having a really good first couple of weeks. Another football kid. Nico Genova, kid transferred in for us from Poland. A very good ball handler, very good shooter, very, very skilled player. We're looking for a lot out of him. Some sophomores I want to highlight. Dante Turner, Rocco's younger brother, kind of the same mold as him. Just a very, very headstrong kid, good shooter, plays with an edge. Grayson Dubose, another transfer coming in from Lowville, 6'3", 6'4", long athletic kid. We're looking maybe can make a splash for us. Sophomore Will Petty's about 6'5". His dad was a great player at Cardinal Mooney back in the days, longtime coach there. He's getting better every single day. Kingston Powell, football player, 6'1", athlete, can get after it. Another kid, Dennis Clark, was an outstanding player on the football field. Just a freaky athlete, best athlete in the school. get a number of Division I looks for football, very smooth basketball player. Any one of these guys can break through and be big-time players for us. I think I've pretty much nailed our whole team there.
I love the brand of Mooney basketball too. It's been a toughness brand that you've instilled to these guys, and it's carried over from all kinds of different classes. Does the playbook widen, or does everything get a little more basic when you have as many senior leaders as you do this year?
So it definitely widens. We weren't able to do as much as we did last year as we did the previous 2 years because we were so inexperienced. So it definitely widens. Having everybody with you all summer definitely helps with that. We're able to install a lot of stuff and do a lot with that. But honestly, I think coaches overcomplicate things way too much, especially in the game of basketball. We know who our playmakers are. We know who our shooters are. We know what we do well. So, as far as the playbook's concerned, we like to keep that for situational stuff, for dead ball situations at a timeout, or if we just want to isolate a certain player and get them a shot. Other than that, we want to play fast. We want to get the game going up and down. And if we ever feel like we're in a game where we're outmatched athletically, then we know how to slow the game down. These kids know how to do it. They're very patient. And what I think our staff does a very good job of making our kids understand that, we may have some guys that are more talented than others, but their importance on the team isn't any different. Their role might be to score. Your role might not be that. We get them to understand that winning is the most important thing, and whatever you have to do to win, our guys are willing to do that.
Perfect segue right into your staff. I want to give you the chance to highlight the coaching staff that you've put together and the people that are putting in the work to make sure this program is as good as it is.
I'll start from the bottom up, kind of like Coach Beanie did before me. Our head freshman coach, Johnny Mikos, is back for his third year. He was a former player of mine, understands what we do through and through. We added another coach that's going to help Johnny on the freshman staff, Jason Pangio. He has about 25 years of basketball experience. They do a great job instilling our fundamentals and really just teaching our system. I always tell Johnny, I don't really care what our freshman record is every year, just as long as they understand what we do. Coincidentally, they win 16 games, 17 games every season. My head JV coach is Jabri Carter. He's coached the JV team. I think this is his fourth year doing it. Jerron Howe assists him, and this is his fifth year on staff. And our JV and varsity staff kind of like intermix. Jabri handles coaching the post players. Jerron handles the wings. They do a tremendous job with that, and they put in a lot of hours when it's not on the schedule in the off season, the summer, the springtime, the fall, before school. They do a tremendous job with that. Ralph Naples and Jeff Shaheen are back. Ralph has been with me. This is his 8th year. Jeff is going into his 5th year. They did a tremendous job. They handle scouting, preparation. Jeff and Ralph also handle our guards and whatnot in practice. Again, these guys put in an enormous amount of time after hours, stuff that I don't even know about. I honestly believe, if you look at the numbers and you look at like staffs that have been together for long around the area and the success, I don't think there's a better staff in this area than what I have. I'm very lucky to have these guys. I gotta mention my wife. She does a ton with our social media stuff and fundraising. There's a lot of stuff. Like we have a parent meeting Thursday. She organizes that and talks about the fundraising 50-50. I honestly couldn't do it without her because I just don't want to deal with any of that stuff. My staff, my family, they make it very easy for me to focus on the basketball and the day-to-day operations. And I can't tell you how key that is. Anytime like there's a younger coach that asks me what are key, you got to have a good staff you trust. You got to have support at home with your family. And I definitely have that.
Coach, the last question I have for you, and it's the running theme this year. I'm asking all coaches. The love of the game is what unites us all every season, whether we're on the sidelines, on the floor, in the press box, doesn't matter. Where'd the love for the game of basketball start for you? Do you have a moment in time or a time frame?
I tell this to everybody. For me, it's my parents in everything I do. They really instilled like work ethic with me in competition. My father would never allow me to come home or like walk in the house if I was ever outworked by somebody. Somebody might be better than me, but there was a value placed on work and work ethic. And then I just was geared toward basketball. I grew up in the early 90s, late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, and Michael Jordan was the best player. And I loved watching him compete and just how competitive he was. And I think me and my brother were kind of drawn toward that. We had an uncle that was in the Hall of Fame in high school. He was a great basketball player. I think we were kind of in tune with that. But I like all sports, honestly. I just love the game and the teamwork of basketball and the different roles you can play. And just in grade school and in a young age, I just kind of was gripped to that. And I had a lot of friends that were into basketball. I mean, the two kids I was best friends with are some of my best friends in grade school. We were on the same team through high school, and we started in the 5th grade together, and we started in the 12th grade together, and that just kind of stuck with me. And I had good coaches. I had great coaches from grade school to high school to college. I mean, my high school coach is going to be in the High School Hall of Fame. My college coach was the all-time winningest coach in college. I was very blessed with that. So they all played a big role, but where it started was with my parents. I was lucky with that.
Coach, we appreciate your time. We're so excited for the basketball season. We can't wait to see you out there. I think I'm actually scheduled to be at your first game of the year at home on that first Friday. So we can't wait to be out there with you. Hopefully this 1:45 time slot gives you good luck in the first game.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll see you real soon.
So, Anthony, what size? You're coming the first game. What size shirt you wear? We got to get you some Mooney gear, man.
Got to get it. I'm a medium, Coach.
Medium. Ty, what size?
Give me an XL, Coach.
So I want to see that at 145 slot. Mooney basketball.
Well,
okay, we'll do it, Coach.
We've always said, get us gear, and
we're shameless. We'll wear gear all the time.
Gotta wear it.
No doubt. No doubt. We always love talking to you.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, that's Kerry Palermo, and that'll actually do it for Running Point today. A packed show. You had 4 coaches on. I think we pretty much fit as much as we could into Running Point. We're going to continue
2 girls
for the next
coaches, 2 boys coaches. You got a little bit of each side too.
Gonna continue it the next 2 weeks leading up to basketball season. Anthony Hartwig, Ty Bartell coming back on the show. We love having you, buddy. And we'll see everybody back here tomorrow. Scotty Mitchell will be on the show, and we'll have more basketball previews as well.